Hi guys, welcome back to What's on My Plate. So for tonight, I'm making cauliflower steaks. It's gonna be delicious, you're gonna love it, so let's get started. Okay, so here is my large cauliflower. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to parboil this because I love cauliflower, and every recipe out there that I have tried, it never is fully cooked. So what I have been doing is I parboil it, so I don't boil it to the point that it's fall apart. I just get the water to a boil. I boil it for about 5 minutes, and then I remove it, let it cool, and then I slice it into my steaks. So that's what we're going to be doing here, because this is how you're going to have an amazing cauliflower steak. So let's get to that step next. Okay, so my cauliflower, I have removed all the leaves. I left the stem on, and I put it in a pot with water to cover with about a half a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to let this get to a boil, and I'm going to let it boil for about 3 to 5 minutes. Once it's done boiling, after the 3 to 5 minutes, I'm going to remove it, let it cool, and then I'm going to go ahead and slice it into my steaks, and then I'm going to season it. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because every recipe that I have tried, and let me tell you, I've tried many that I have seen, and my cauliflower is always undercooked. It's raw, so basically I'm putting all this effort into making my cauliflower steaks, and it's just, I might as well not have done anything. So that is why I started to parboil my cauliflower. This way it's tender and also crispy, because you're cooking it on a high heat when you're putting it on the grill or you're roasting it. So let this get to a boil. We're gonna cook it and we'll get to the other steps after. Okay, so it's getting to a boil, and I'm just gonna leave it in there for like 3 minutes to 5 minutes. So I'm gonna do 3 minutes to start. We don't want this to fully cook. We just want it to be tender when we either roast it or we grill it. Okay, so my cauliflower boiled for 3 minutes. I removed it, and it's in a strainer, and I'm just gonna let it cool, and then I'm gonna start slicing it, and that'll be the next step. Okay, so now that my cauliflower has cooled off, I'm gonna start slicing it. Okay, so this is the end part, so it's not staying together, but these pieces are. So I'm going to add them to my tray. I've got this little guy too. So it's about, I would say, a ½ inch thick. Okay, here it goes. I'm going to add this to my tray. So if it's not really attached to the stem, it starts to break apart, as you could see. So I'm going to cut it like this way. Probably best to start from the stem. Okay. So it's about ½ inch. About ½ inch or an inch thick. Let's slice this piece. Okay. So the pieces, again, with the stem are intact. So if you want to make a whole bunch of cauliflower steaks and you want them intact, then you need to get more than one head of cauliflower. And so this, I'll just make them smaller. And these are going to go on the grill. Okay, and it's not falling apart because I parboiled it. It's just you need the stem. So these pieces here, maybe show you a close-up. We're going to start lathering them with olive oil. Okay, we're going to start lathering these with olive oil. Okay, drizzle it all over, both sides. And this could be roasted. You could just put it right in the oven or grill it. Okay, just get the olive oil all over. Okay. And for the seasoning, remember I had salted the water. So what I'm doing is I'm using Italian seasoning, but I'm using the salad dressing seasoning. It's got garlic powder in there, onion powder, salt, pepper, you name it. So I'm gonna generously season these. So you probably need a whole packet since it's one cauliflower. Just sprinkle it all over, and then we're gonna baste the other side. Okay. Get these all turned. Okay. Since you have the ones that are intact. This one's actually a little bit thicker than a 1/2 inch. Okay, and now we're going to baste the other side as well. Just use my hands. Okay, and if you want to grill them, you can grill them on high heat for a couple minutes aside until they're crispy. And if you put them in the oven, you want to cook it at like 425 or 450, so it could crisp up, because I'll tell you, these are going to be tender. And so now we're going to season the other side with the Italian seasoning. So these are my cauliflower steaks. Again, they're not going to look like this because the other ones do not have the stem there, but so this is it. This is my cauliflower steaks. I'm going to go ahead and grill them, and then after they're grilled, I'm going to go ahead and add some chimichurri on top. It's going to be absolutely delicious. Okay, here's my cauliflower steaks, and the little tiny ones on a high grill for a few minutes aside. We just want them to get some color. So when they're done, I'm going to flip them to the other side, make sure the lid's closed, and they're going to taste absolutely delicious. Okay, so I flipped the smaller ones already, but I'm just going to wait. So it's about 3 to 5 minutes aside. I mean, you just want them to get that color. As you could see, the color already on the smaller ones. So I'm just going to wait another minute or so, and then I'm going to flip the actual larger pieces. Okay, so now my cauliflower is complete. I'm going to take it off the grill, and then I'm going to go and plate it, and I'll show you. Okay, so they're done. Look how good they look. So good, and they smell amazing. So basically I could have gotten 3 steaks out of each cauliflower because you have to cut them thicker, and I was gonna cut them thinner in the beginning, but I wound up cutting them a little too big and a little too small, but they stayed intact. And I'm gonna put some chimichurri on it, and I'm gonna plate it, and I'm gonna show you. And these little pieces, I mean, cauliflower is delicious, so you can cook them just the same way. It doesn't have to be in a big steak form. So let me get it on my plate, and I will show you. Okay, so here's my chimichurri that I made. And so I'm gonna go ahead and drizzle it all over the top of every piece. Look how good that looks. This is such a great meal, just by itself, or a side dish. Look how good. Thank you so much for watching what's on my plate. I'll actually, let me take a piece so you can, because it's super tender too. Okay. So good. It still has a bite, and the flavor is amazing.